What I want to know about is how many people speak Bashkir? Like
in Bashkortostan,
or in the world, or in Russia, or...
Сколько человек говорит на башкирском?
В мире, если так взять, то где-то 7 миллионов, наверное. Нет?
Это было...
2 миллиона.
Нет, я чисто башкорты или...
So maybe just 2 to 5 million?
Well, Venera thinks that there are about 7 million Bashkirs, but less than 7 million, but about 2 million people that who really speak Bashkir.
Нет, меньше.
Вот как родной язык изучают, да? 2 миллиона.
Well, they say that it's officially... Well, officially, I mean, figures differ just because of some political issues. But we are thinking that about like 4 million, taking into account other regions who are speaking Bashkir too.
And because you've said how in the last 20 years there's been a lot more schools that are teaching in Bashkir and things like that. Do you? It's a small language, but do you feel that it is a dying language?
Нет. Наоборот, у нас демография же поднимается.
We don't think that's dying language. In the last 15 years, our president, our government tries to resolve this demographic issues, demographic problem. So hopefully, and Bashkir is considered as second language. In Bashkortostan, you have 2 official languages, Russian and Bashkir.
Yeah.
So our language is supported by government, by Medvedev also. So we are working on our culture, we are working on our language, we are working on our folklore. So lots of universities have special philology classes. So we are very positive about the future, Bashkir language future.
And linguistically, what are some of the things that Bashkir has done to make itself more appealing, and make it, give it new life, make it more appealing so young people want to read it and want to? Because you said there's political measures. I mean, it's taught in the schools. People can go to Bashkir schools, but a lot of small languages, they risk becoming extinct if the language becomes too exclusive. Like for example, a simple example is with the Rapa Nui language on the Easter Island. It was almost, and it was becoming extinct, but only so few people spoke it, and so instead you developed a more of a hybrid mix between the Spanish that people spoke and then the Rapa Nui, and so you had only a few people could speak it fluently, but words and phrases were integrated into the common speech, and so it became more appealing to young people, and it gave the language a new life because it was extremely flexible. Because if a language is too rigid and too purist, it loses, it becomes forgotten. And I'm wondering, what are some measures that linguistically that Bashkir has done to stay active and appealing? Like, is there contemporary literature that's written in, say, in Russian or English or French or German, which is being translated into Bashkir? So people from,
Главное, семья это работаешь. Дальше уже у нас нет, подождите, у нас богатая история, богатая культура, и почему это не сохранить, и главное, мы показывать не умеем. Если вот такие поэмы у нас, или какая-то список, вот тюрксой список долбар, если ЮНЕСКО список окончательный, пропаганда таки так уже на правительственном уровне это начнется. Это и надо, и чтобы правительство нас поддерживало, и в то же время каждый сам должен осознавать внутри, если он рухат булгал, будет изучать. Если булмагал, выходит прихалдап тургандар, то хантовый, что он не захочет изучать.
Well, she said that everything starts in a family, and during Soviet Union it was like Soviet people. No, we are not Soviet people, and we tried to save, let's say save, but to restore our culture and our history. We think that our history is very rich, and with studying and with knowing, and that's why yes, we should have this belief, and we should have this inner interest. I can't find the proper. Yeah, pride for our language, because we know who we are, we know our history, we know where we are coming from, and we know our language. We have our language and traditions. So, so she said that everything starts in a family. In the family we speak our Bashkir language, and it is also this poem is in the Turksoy organization list. And she said that if this yes, Ural Batır becomes one of the UNESCO heritage, and people from other worlds will, from other countries will hear about Bashkir language, about Bashkir epic poem, and in that case we'll be able to show who we are, just to let know people about us.
Еще если язык будет жить, если деревни будут жить.
And yes, and it's a very important moment that our language will live if there will live villages, not cities. In cities we become more globalized. We speak mostly Russian and English and other languages, and we are more like kind of modern, contemporary. But if there will be villages and people conserve their language. I mean, Bashkir language is mostly spoken in the villages, in the countryside.
What do you do to keep people in the villages?
They just live. I mean, not all the people live in the cities.
But is there?
They just live in there. They have their own world, and they live.
But is the village an attractive place for young people to stay and grow up and live?
Well, first of all, it is common to Bashkir people to have a big families.
Okay.
First of all, even I mean, it's thanks to countryside people who give birth to Bashkir people. Because in the city, people, yes, in cities people are like more career orientated. But in the villages, the real life, family, connections, history, family tree, cultures, literature, traditions, happy life, you know. They live in their own world with rainy and sunny days. I mean, there are more life in the village than in the city. In the city, we become very globalized. We use internet all the time. We speak on the phone. We send faxes. It's okay too. But we are career oriented, and we think about money, and we think kind of more Western style lifestyle.
Okay.
So if there will be countryside, more countryside or healthy countryside, or if we support them, in that case they will help us to support our language too.
Okay. What's the most interesting thing or unique thing about the Bashkir language, in that it's already a Turkic language? What's the hardest thing to learn about it? Like, say people would say a very hard thing with Russian is its grammar or case endings. English, I guess what makes English so hard is that we don't have case endings, and so people don't ever know the word order. What's something really unique about the Bashkir language, grammatically or syntactically, I guess?
Башкорт тілінде несі башкорт тілін үйрену ауыр ма несін?
Нет, он инглизия, я барып келе ятам, әллә нимә келем ки, шул, короче, у нас университетта профессордар методику разрабатывали. Башкорт тілін теле аша инглиз тілін өйрәнү, икенчеге контексте өйрәнү. Шул бар.
Не? А вообще, инде башкорт тілі грамматика же кыйын да инде. Без лазбе разобрали кыйын түгел. Даже бер хата эшләгәннәр. Да. Well, Bashkir language is really very hard to learn. Grammatically, Bashkir language close to Finnish language, Finno-Ugor language, grammatically, not lexically close to Turkic language, but grammatical to Finnish language. And there are lots of endings and endings, yes. And Bashkir State University philology professors, they work on a methodology how to learn Bashkir language with the help of English language. You know, they're comparing the sounds, the words, and some just comparing and comparing the words. They are working on a methodology how they can make easier for people who are interested in learning Bashkir language.
Лейсан, я тебя перебью, просто я слышу такое мнение, может, Венера подтвердит или нет, чем древнее языки, тем они схожи, вот фонетический строй, да, вот то же самое, вот башкирский, там, английский, вот фонетический строй очень, близко, да,
а вот смотрите,
поэтому и как раз таки говорят, что башкирский язык это тоже древний.
И опять-таки 10 век, если барха, 10 векте кумарткаларды просто язылыш икенсе, но если транскрипцияны если укылган башкорт тілімен шуны якын. Можно просто так понять аны. И без кулланган тілмердегі сөздер онда да бар.
А вот что вы сказали насчет языка, у меня мнение, не только вот семья должна говорить, а все-таки от государства. Если вы приехали, например, в Россию, да, вы знаете русский, вы изучали русский язык, вы уважаете этот народ. Раз вы приехали в Башкортостан, где народ башкиры живут, вы, я так думаю, должны знать несколько слов хотя бы на башкирском языке. Если мы поедем в Америку, уважая американский народ, мы будем изучать и знать, говорить на американском языке, то есть на английском языке, так ведь? То есть это вот башкиры, коренные жители Башкортостана, вот ты живешь здесь, будь то вот изучай этот язык, и на государственном уровне это должны сохранить. Вот язык должен быть защищен не только на уровне там семьи, на уровне кухни это язык невозможно сохранить. Я так думаю. Это на уровне государства.
No English, please.
Нет, наверное, по-русски не понимаю.
Он понял.
But you record in Russian though.
Well, I'm recording it, but as it's recorded, but as I've recorded it, I was thinking how this might be really interesting for my linguistics. One of my old linguistics teachers, who of course studied, Old Slavonic and she's Czech but she knows Russian, and studied a lot of the Russian languages, Slavic languages, and so actually you talking about this in a mix between Bashkir and Russian, she would understand the Russian, and she might find the Bashkir part very interesting. I have another question. You were pointing on the map earlier where the Bashkir people are. If you could show me.
Well, this is a political map.
So that's okay. So okay.
The Ural Mountains start somewhere here, so it's like 2,000 kilometers down here till up to Kazakhstan.
And where
so we are Ufa is here, so we are living here. So this is Republic of Bashkortostan here. So
okay, it's
and
kind of blurry,
people,
but that's okay.
I mean, like 2,000 years ago, in 10th century, Bashkir people used to live in this area. In summer they would go this way, and in the winter this way. They will live this way. And that's why now Bashkir people mostly live in here, in the Volga River basin.
Listen, don't forget to say that the Ural divided Russian Federation to Asia.
And where are the Tartar people?
Kazan, this is the capital city of Tatarstan, the Republic of Tatarstan. So here Tatar people. But you can find Tatar people everywhere. They are well widely settled, and also here are some settlement of Tatar people too.
Okay.
So you can find Tatar people in here too, in California.
Yeah. And this is the Karta of Venera. All right.